Hi, hello everyone, this is Aegon of Astora, and welcome back to my blind playthrough of Elden Ring. This is episode number 46, being recorded on Sunday, April the 30th, 2023. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, whenever it is you find yourself watching this. Okay, I mentioned at the end of the previous episode, which I just finished recording a minute ago. I literally just picked up where I left off, which is that we would go and do that red summon sign for the Volcano Manor, because that is our next request. I said I would do any of them that were in a location in which we sort of have already unlocked the area, and that is the next request in such an area. So yeah, for some reason yesterday we just sort of walked right by it. Did I just go too low? May have. Whoop. Uh-oh. This is potentially bad. Let's see. Oh, come on. Sometimes I feel like the gravity deaths in this game are ludicrous. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just terrible at gauging where I can go and, yeah, anyways. So after we do this, we're likely going to have to go to Mount Gelmir, the Volcano Manor. Well, we're in Mount Gelmir. I guess technically we just crossed over into the Altus Plateau. But we will eventually... We did deal with this graveyard here, I think. Because that's that Church of Marika that we went to. And our runes are right here. Yeah, in retrospect, it was pointless of me to jump on that spirit spring there, but I did for one reason or another, but, here we are. Okay, so I think that's why there were all these bloodstains, so I was kind of distracted. So let's see what we have in store here. Riley the Idol. Sorry, Riley, friend. Uh-oh, that's bad. Ooh. He could have backstabbed us there. Oh, darn it. GG, friend. Crepus's Vial, Black Key Bolt. Small mysterious bottle with a dark mist sealed within. Eliminates all sound made by the wearer during movement. A ritual implement used by Roundtable Hold assassins. There was a time when Tarnished who had strayed from guidance feared nothing more than utter silence. Okay, that's fascinating. So, that combined with this would be quite formidable for, like, yeah, I can see it now. You could do a really cool sort of assassin build in this game. I would be all sorts of into that. Okay, we have all these markers that we need to do away with, and then we need to go to the Roundtable, or not the Roundtable Hold, the Volcano Manor. might as well check in with everyone. I'll cut to whatever the next new thing is, as usual.
I see you've performed another task for us. Here is your usual reward. Please, take it.
Gosh darn it. Serpent Bone Blade.
Now, perhaps the time has come to tell you of the true ruler of this manor, Lord Rykard. The Erd Tree blessed the Tarnished with grace, but it was all too meager in the face of the enormity of their task. The Tarnished were forced to scavenge, squabbling for crumbs, like the Shard Bearers vying for power in the wake of the Shattering. Our Lord, indignant, has refused to scurry about, fighting over what miserly scraps they allow us. If the Erd Tree, and indeed the very gods, would debase us so, then we are willing to raise the banner of resistance, even if it means heresy. We at the Volcano Manor, under Lord Rykard, have sworn no rest until it is done. If you follow this heroic path, one day the Lord will see you. The Lord's visits with our champions are always a spectacle. It cannot come a day too soon.
Okay, very interesting. So that's more or less confirms my read on the Volcano Manor friends. I didn't realize the whole idea of Lord Rykard being sort of like a messianic figure to them. I think that's very interesting. Yeah, fascinating stuff. So, like, yeah, the idea that his visit will be a spectacle. Sinister katana modeled after a serpent bone. The densely packed row of spines that jut away from the cutting edge are coated in a lethal poison.
It's just as my noble brother says. I'm a complete fool. I can't believe I thought I could become a champion.
Oh dear.
Perhaps I am a fool after all. No, it's worse than that. What an easy...
Definitely an easy mark. Red letter. A written request from Volcano Manor disclosing the name of a Tarnished to be hunted. As the final request, the letter is vivid red. Juno Hoslow, Knight of Blood. He can be found in the mountaintops of the Giants. Find the red mark on your map for the exact location. You know, people are going to be so annoyed at this. Oh, I don't know if it was the previous episode. It would have been the episode prior. I complained and complained and complained and complained about the riddle. I didn't realize, like, I didn't fully process the fact that we had a map. Okay, gosh darn it. So yeah, the mountaintop of the Giants is more or less where I suspected it was earlier in the playthrough, so we're going to have to return to that later. I can see a lighthouse. Yeah, we're going to not just run to the lighthouses just yet. But that is something we will eventually do. So the third one is somewhere here. Gosh darn it. We also did not speak to the finger reader crone. So, okay, we'll do that next.
Look at you. A recusant through and through. I knew you had it in you. Take this.
Oh, thank you.
A special invitation to hunt some of the first Tarnished who sat at the Roundtable Hold. If you should accept, I'll next see you on the field of battle.
Okay, that's interesting. Everyone giving their giving us their duties. 2 tarnished to be hunted. Vargum the Raging Wolf and errant sorcerer Wilhelm. Both men can be found in the royal capital of Leyndale. Find the red mark. Okay, interesting. So that'll be a 2-on-2 battle, I suppose. Because, yeah, we also got Patch's letter as well.
Oh, it's you. Forgive me. My mind never ceases to churn of late. Well, I know I can trust you. I saw something slithering in the pitch black of night. It entered the room next to this one and never came out. If I'm not mistaken, it took the form of a serpent, just like me. Does the Volcano Manor hide some secret that Lady Tanith has kept from me? I realize that I shouldn't impose, but if you discover anything, would you please share?
Ooh. Yeah, you know, she's been... Okay. I guess, yeah, our policy in this playthrough has been honesty. Despite, yeah, it's been bad. But anyways, yeah, let's do it.
Really? Oh, so there was a secret after all. Oh my. Lady Tanith, my own mother, has deceived me. Was I not born by the grace of a king?
Oh dear.
Lady Tanith, was I not born by...
Okay, that's... I do kind of feel bad now. So, the door next to us then... So she's talking about this one? So she's saying Praetor Rykard came in here and didn't come out. Or is it here? It must be here. Okay, let's have a rest and see if anything happens.
Lady Tanith, my...
Okay. He's gone. Alrighty then. We might have to go check the Roundtable Hold. Because I'm thinking Hyetta may also be there.
You. What is it?
Oh. Interesting. New dialogue, finally.
There are 4 more demigods yet to be located. Mikola of the Halig Tree, the Unalloyed, his twin, Melania, the undefeated swordswoman, Luna Princess Rani, daughter to Renala, and the one only known as the Lord of Blood. Rani is said to have cast aside her great rune, so here at the Hold, we seek the whereabouts of the remaining 3 shard bearers. If you should learn anything of these matters, I'll trade your findings for a hidden treasure or a long-lost right, known only to me. We both desire to stand before the Elden Ring and become Elden Lord. As such, I hope we are compelled to work together.
Okay, Okay, there was something significant there. I'm brain dead at the moment, I apologize. Let me listen to that again.
There are 4 more. Miquella of the Halig Tree.
Okay, Miquella.
Laeidd. His twin, Melania.
His twin.
The undefeated swordswoman. Luna Princess Rani, daughter to Renan. And Rani is so here if you should let. I'll trade you.
Okay.
As such.
So, Miquella and Melania are twins. Very interesting. Miquella is allied with the Halig tree, which I want to say is in the land of the giants, so... Okay, yeah, again, lots to process. I wonder what triggered the new dialogue. Oh, new equipment here. Battered iron helm from a foreign land, worn by Gelmir of the Briar. The winding rusted iron briars are a mark of the guilty, and typically indicate a sentence of death. They also cause this armor to deal damage when performing dodge rolls, so like Kirk in Dark Souls 1. Gelmir murdered numerous instructors and merchants and was known as the Bell-Bearing Hunter. So, just like Brador in Bloodborne. Okay, no Laeidd here, it looks like. So, where to next? Yeah, let's go here so that we can speak with the finger reader and then try to solve this stinking puzzle. See you later, Bach. Hi, friend.
You, please, I can read them. Your fingers, please, your fingers.
Okay, I can see a sending gate and also hear a merchant friend over there.
Oh, bless you. To the east, ruins of gold. To the west, the serpent's sacrilege. Wherever the path leads, so shall you follow. Wherever the path leads, only more sorrow. 'Tis a curse. A curse. The curse of Queen Marika.
Oh, sorry, friend. You do not have an easy job. I just noticed that, whoops. That, are these perfumer bottles? No, maybe not. Okay, yeah. Sure. You didn't need to tell me that no matter where we go, it was going to be depressing and probably very dark. But fair enough. Forest spanning Greatbridge. Well, not anymore. Yeah. Gosh, I could just watch these friends perform all day.
Oh, dear. You might... Hey, terribly sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Are you here as a customer?
I am. Might as well get all 3 of these. Ancient Dragon Apostles Cookbook for Lightning Pot and Roped Lightning Pot. Lightning Bolt. Red Crest Heater Shield. A medium-sized metal shield, easier to handle than a kite shield. The crest symbolizes red wings. A standard Scorpion Kite Shield, a standard medium-sized metal shield, highly reputed for its solid build and reliability. Emblazoned with a yellow scorpion, a warning of surprise attacks and sudden strikes. Crossed Tree Tower Shield, an iron great shield large enough to cover the entire body, emblazoned with an old interleaving tree. Great shields boast high damage negation and guard capacity, making attacks easy to repel. Tree Surcoat, blue surcoat draped over chainmail. The tree insignia emblazoned on the front depicts the Erd Tree, and is a design beloved throughout the lands between. Yeah, I'll pick that up, why not? Unseen Assassins. And Imp Shades. Well, thank you very much, friend, for your wonderful wares.
I must apologise. I'm afraid I've very little to offer.
No, don't say that. I actually was quite pleased with your selection. Some assassins cannot be seen with the naked eye. Seems the Erd Tree sentries once carried torches that could cast light on these prowlers. Oh, okay. We have to keep our eyes peeled for these torches. So I wonder, somewhere around here, were those 2 Erd Tree... Was that what they were called? Erd Tree Sentinel? Or something like that? Tree Sentinel? Those horseback friends, like the first boss we fought outside in the world. If they drop a torch or something, then maybe all of those ghosts that are just sort of running around in circles, like this one here. There was one in Laeidd as well. They were all over the place. I wonder if that would be the key to actually, seeing them. Fascinating. Nothing can touch the shades of imps in the hero's graveyard. Only Rosis's light can give them form. What is the hero's graveyard? That's not this, is it? Okay, lots of mysteries. As usual, mysteries and riddles. That's this game in a nutshell. Oh, rip. Sorry, friend. Let's make sure there's nothing else over here before we proceed. All these trick messages and the messages from the kind and benevolent players who, as they say, do the Lord's work in warning players against that kind of stuff. Okay, so I want to see where that sending gate goes. However, I also want to see what this item is down here. Golden arrow. Gosh darn it. He's looking right at us. It's okay. I guess that means he wants to live, which is fair enough. So one thing I'm not sure about is if resting at a site of grace, if that resets the puzzle. Or are we still on the third thing that we need to touch? I suppose we'll find out. Okay, I think I'm gonna equip some of the assassin stuff. So that we can look at that map, which again, I feel very silly. Okay, riddle concerning a rise that vanishes like a mirage. I don't see where it could be if it's not here. Wow, these friends really are fighting one another. Regret what's happening. Oh. Well done, friends. Alright. Okay, well, we might as well make sure that they don't respawn when you rest, because... Oh, they do, okay. Oh, unless that's just the imp. Oh gosh darn it. Okay, so I'm gonna say they don't reset, because otherwise three phantom crests. Because otherwise, there would be one right in this corner here. I'm tilting my head so that I can see see it from the same angle. And the next one would be right in front of the rise, which is right here. But again, it's not here. And I do remember the first two being like basically immediately there. So where else could it be then if it's not right there? And it's right by the path leading up. So... wish there were an easier way to flip between them. Right in front of the second part of the bridge. Okay, so... very specifically... here. Number 3. Oops. Here's the Phantom Imp. I'm gonna feel really, really stupid. Oh my gosh, that's... oh, okay, never mind. That was the friend who was murdered while we were just trying to figure this stuff out. Oh my goodness, is it right here? What, it's in the rock? Are you joking? Oh my goodness, wow. People are going to be very upset. I spent all that time, you know, credit to the game and not to me that, yeah, I had a map the whole time. That would have been so much easier, but it just, I don't know if I saw the map and then I almost certainly did that in multiple recording sessions, so there is that. But of course, yeah, not really much of an excuse. It was an absurd fail on my part. Right up there with not knowing where Ronnie's Rise was right away. Just by going to an area, oh, the 3 sisters, I wonder where the 3rd sister is. Gosh darn it. It's gonna be a memory stone, isn't it? It better be something amazing. I was wondering for a second why we weren't making any footsteps. Right, that ring. Ooh. Slumbering egg. Unseen blade, unseen form. So more assassin stuff. One of the night sorceries of Celia, Town of Sorcery, enchants armament held in right hand, making it completely invisible. This sorcery can be cast while in motion. Use my Celian assassins to present themselves as unarmed sorcerers. Makes the caster semi-invisible. While on horseback, effect extends to cover the mount. This sorcery can be cast while in motion. The Celian assassins considered every option that aided their dirty work, so it seems every faction has their own assassins. Okay. You know, at least it's not a memory stone, so there's that. But yeah, I'm glad at least we figured it out eventually. Okay, so where to now? Oh, we need to go check out that that sending gate. Someone just died. Which is why I was laughing, FYI. Alright. Where to? Oh, interesting. Because of course it's no longer a forest spanning Greatbridge, so someone installed a sending gate to address that. So that's really interesting, I think. Totally makes sense. Okay, so Bridge of Iniquity. I think we should go maybe to the Seethewater will this eventually, I think, connect with this, or will it take us under the bridge? I think it'll take us under the bridge, but it may also eventually connect us with the other path. So, yeah, maybe we'll go to the Bridge of Iniquity. We'll take it until we get here, like what is the apparent intersection between the two spots. We'll say there. Wait, where's our first one? It's here. So we'll take that until it intersects with the other path, and then we'll go down to the Seethewater River and then take that up. Yeah, I think that sounds like a good plan. Alrighty then. Okay, so it seems like a dreadful battle has happened here. Volcanic stone. Sorry. Don't mind us. I love when NPCs are fighting. I don't know why it just gives me the giggles every time. It's just the feeling that like the world is alive and not everything depends on you, even though of course in actual fact they're likely scripted events which begin as soon as you are in range of them, but all the same I find it cool. Keep up the great work, friends. Oh no, where did he go? How does she see me? Are you joking? Oh my goodness. I also don't know how she grabbed me. Oh, come on. Oh no. No, this is bad news bears. Oh. I'm dead. Oh. It would not be inaccurate to suggest that I deserve that. For all of my gawking and just, you know, oh yeah, it's so cute when they're fighting one another. Yeah, it's great. That was a terrible position to be in there as well. I'm trying to avoid these friends at all costs. Yeah, so the Lordsworn friends here have been absolutely decimated by these scythe friends. Or guillotine friends, or pizza cutter friends, however you want to describe them. They are horrifying monstrosities who, you know, to their credit, are very good at what they do, which is absolutely senseless murder. Murdering anyone who comes in their path. Having zero mercy. Oh, there's a ladder there. we are going to want to check that out. Oh, just dreadful, dreadful place. This is a... I didn't think anything would be able to top Laeidd. It's possible this place might be able to. Just trying to see if maybe we can run through everything. Not have to fight them one-on-one, because I'm not sure we have what it takes. Where's the ladder? Here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. I did not think that was a thing. Okay, you know they put that ladder there specifically for that. Wow. This is reminiscent of when I ran away from the spirit, tree spirit under Stormvale Castle. Because that was also an extremely long ladder. Oh, thank goodness. Ooh, and some graves we can rob. First Mount Gelmir campsite. You all know me. I love a good grave robbery in this game. Give me all the golden runes, please. As mentioned in an earlier episode, I think looting a grave is too neutral a term. Really, we should be talking about grave robbing when you're just stealing these runes from these tombs here. Oh. Wolf friend with their master, seemingly. Again, I keep falling into this trap. Wolf friend with their companion, I should say. That's so sad. Okay. The music here is very unsettling, as you might expect. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I will take this skull, however. It's too alluring for me, you know, even though we have unlimited runes at this point, virtually. This was that guard tower we saw with, that from a distance anyway looked largely untextured. Oh, is he eating? He is eating his friend. Okay, I was gonna leave this friend alone, but no. Leyndell soldier Greaves. Greaves worn by soldiers sworn to defend the royal capital of Leyndell, rust-worn and stained through unending conflict. Yeah, so these friends have resorted to cannibalism, seemingly. Leyndell soldier gauntlets. Yeah, same description essentially. This is very sad. Yeah, to be reduced to cannibalism. Because there's seemingly no food sources anywhere. Is it because of our... I was thinking, like, is it because of our talisman that your friend got confused there? Yeah. Not sure. It's a pumpkin-headed friend over there. Yeah, I do like the assassin gear, actually. Just as I was complaining about, you know, not knowing which... Oh. Nicely done. It's just the low-level soldiers that are doing their job. Everyone else is sort of just snacking on their dead compatriots. Imagine there's nothing pleasant going on up here either. Oh, okay. I guess one friend isn't so bad. Pulley bow. Longbow, which utilizes a series of pulleys and strings. The complex mechanism, which required advanced mathematical and mechanical understanding to craft, was likely made by a certain genius who learned Golden Order fundamentalism, enhances precision while shooting, enabling arrows to fly much further distances. Interestingly, yeah, you only need 11 strength and 11 dex for that. So is that because it's like... Yeah, wow. Lower requirements than the longbow. So maybe that's the solution to our problem, in that our longbow is not doing enough damage. I'll have to upgrade that and see. Get wrecked. Okay. It's going to take some getting used to, though, not making any noise, because I keep thinking something is wrong with the game capture, and I keep looking over to my right, just being like, was it not capturing audio? It's going to, yeah, take a while to get used to. Insofar as we continue using it anyway. I don't know if we will, but we'll see. For now, I'm enjoying it. In part because, yeah, I find this area frightening and scary. Don't quite feel as invincible here as I have up to this point. Oh gosh darn it. This friend's aggroed onto us, but I want to see where we are on the map. Okay. Alrighty, so before we go there, let's go in this direction, just make sure we're not missing anything. Looks like we have a forest here. And a ton of wolves. Oh, crud. Sorry, wolf friend. I'll leave your sleeping friend over there alone. Oh. Oh. Okay. This is that place. I always get sad as I get to the end of the weekend, because it's now basically the end of the weekend. not much time left in this recording session. I've been in this awkward sort of in-between place with my recording sessions, such that every weekend I end up finishing one recording session, but not the next one. So each episode is technically split across 2 weeks, which is fine. But then, you know, we get to the end of the weekend and I get sad because I'm like, oh, I have to wait another week, basically, until I have more time to play more Elden Ring. It would be nice. I think very few people have the privilege of being able to do this kind of stuff full time. It would be nice if I were one of those people, but yeah, it's not really feasible at the moment. Okay, where is our painter friend? Still no map, okay. So, the person on the top here is facing in this direction. So where is the painter friend then? Gotta be there or something? Where did I originally think they were? Oh wow, I said here, I was way off. Because they're from the angle where, yeah, you can see the front of it. Okay, well, let's see what this place has in store. Color me intrigued. So is this going to be another Fringe Folk Heroes Grave type situation? Our headpiece is poking through the sword. I can hear a scarab. Gelmir's hero's grave. Gelmir here. Ooh, beast eye quivers. We have not had any Deathroot in quite some time, so it would be nice to be able to go give Garank some additional Deathroot. Well played. Okay. Oh, so it just leads directly into one of these places. Oh gosh darn it, I don't like this at all. Not one bit. Oh, and there comes the... Wow. Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Okay, I'm dead here, I think. Oh, gosh darn it. Okay, that's the... that scared me. That's basically one of the animations that these friends had in Dark Souls. Ouch. Like corkscrew. It's basically one of the moves that Emperor Palpatine, or I guess then just Darth Sidious, used in, or perhaps more accurately, Senator Palpatine, used in Star Wars Episode 3 on Mace Windu. Brave Glovewort level 7. Okay, there's a whole side area here. Gosh darn it, this area is dreadful. It's almost worse than the Fringe Folk Heroes Grave. Thankfully, my level is still more than appropriate for the area. And by more than appropriate, I mean just not appropriate. Oh my gosh, that scared me. I think they're supposed to activate upon hearing us. I don't think we're supposed to find them just staring at the flame, which is funny. Just like, whoa, look at this. Hey, do you have any eyebrows left? I don't even have skin. Okay, and it's not that funny, but is it like a thing you become a dad and then you just start telling dad jokes, or was I telling dad jokes even before I became a dad? I'd probably say the latter. Well played, friend. It's too bad you shot at the wall. That was a dreadful ambush. You all should learn from the imps. The imps know how to ambush someone. They know quite well. Okay, we've been here. Next is here, and then we'll have to hop on that thing and go up, I think. Okay, I don't know if we skipped anything, but frankly, I don't care. Can we go up? Is there any reason to go up? It does not look that way, okay. Oh. There we go. What the heck? I did not think that friend would make it. Oh no. Oh, I shouldn't have stopped. No! I really should not have stopped. Yeah, I think the scarab sound is coming from outside, somewhere around wherever the heck we are. Oh gosh darn it, I cannot believe I died. You know, I want to say we did have a fair number of runes. So maybe we should equip Sacrificial Twig. Okay, that's okay. I will take that. Oh, I think I waited too long. Okay, I think we should wait till it gets to the top. Or at least until it goes past us. Okay, good stuff. This is where we were. Forgot about poor ambush friend. Page or whatever they're called. Should be take care. Oh, yeah. You're still just standing there. Should take care not to use too many charges of our flask because, of course, there may not be a site of grace at the end of this path. There certainly wasn't at the Fringe Folk Hero's grave. All the bloodstains, my goodness. So, I'm glad I'm not the only one. So yeah, I think we're supposed to jump down. Gosh darn it. Should have unequipped. Okay. Oh man, okay. Yeah, so I think I had the right idea. However, you need to run a little bit farther before dropping down. Okay, I like how when you hit them in the lava, they just die that way. Otherwise, again, this is a godless area. Just dreadful. And I thought the Fringe Folk Hero's grave was bad. You know, in a way, it's kind of like a first-timer's trap also, because, like, there's a lot of the stuff, like, how are you supposed to know the first time you come here? Maybe I'm just dreadful at the game, which, yeah, I wouldn't put past myself, but... No, I forgot I equipped the... I should be going for critical attacks so that I can replenish our HP that way. Although, now we have full HP, so that was kind of pointless, but whatever. here we go. Okay. Smoldering butterfly. Night ahead. Chaos ahead indeed. Can't say that surprises me. The ladder behind us. Bloodhound Knight armor. Very nice. Metal helm with a pointed beak, worn by the Bloodhound Knights. The Bloodhound Knights are trained as hunters and known to be unshakable trackers. Without the use of language, each knight chooses his own master. Once the decision has been made, the knight stays loyal for life. Okay. Oh, Gelmir set. Very nice looking set too. So, in other words, that was that Bloodhound Knight's master. Sad. Helm worn by knights, once loyal to Praetor Rykard. Its crest of red feathers symbolizes Rykard's pedigree as Lord Radagon's son. I think we knew that. Armor worn by knights once loyal to... Okay. It bears an emblem that none wear any longer, standing as it does for a lord that fell from lofty ambition into gluttonous depravity. As the lord lost his dignity, so too did these knights lose their master. Gauntlets worn by knights once loyal to Praetor Rykard. Time has yet to dull their luster. Okay, shall we see how this measures up? It's lighter. Maybe it looks snazzier. No. No. Okay, yeah, we're sticking with what we got. Didn't expect armor, and then behold armor, indeed. I was gonna say didn't expect sadness, but... Oh, don't tell me we still have more of this stinking puzzle trap labyrinth to complete. I was hoping we were near the end. Or at the end. Root resin. Okay, that friend just died. That thing said try range battle. I don't know what that means. Okay, so what are we supposed to do here? So it goes all the way down there. So are we supposed to go up? Okay. I'm scared there for a second. Oh, hello. Mantis Blade. A curved sword with a blade at both ends, wielded by the cemetery shades, the insect-ridden gravekeepers. The blade is thin and sharp, and strong attack unleashes a far-reaching slash. Okay, what now then? Okay, nowhere for us to go there. So it has to be up. Or is this where we just were? Oh my gosh, that's where we just were. So where the heck to then? To kill this thing? No, I don't think so. Oh gosh darn it. How do they always know? Okay, that was very, very close. Okay, I must have missed something. Because, like, the only other option is just to go into the lava. At least that's the way it seems. Ranged battle against what? Are we supposed to hop on? Oh. Are we supposed to hop onto it? It stops right underneath here. Okay. Here goes nothing. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh no, we're dead. We're dead. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can't believe we figured it out. I was just getting ready to warp away because I was like, screw this place. I don't want to deal with this anymore. But the fact that it stopped just enough was like, oh, wait a second. Oh, could this be a lever rushing in? Wow, okay. I'm blown away. Stake of Marika. Very grateful for that. Yeah, with 6 flasks. You're almost better off just dying and then respawning right there. It's active, right? Yeah, I've been very cheeky this whole playthrough, so maybe I won't do that. However, we're gonna want to put on some form of resistance. I'm sure, because whatever we're about to face is probably going to be dreadful. Where is... Sure, okay. Let's do it. Red Wolf of the Champion. Okay, this is bad. We are not good against these friends at all. That's bad. Thankfully, we're doing a ton of damage. One more hit. Bloodhound Knight Flow. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell, used to summon the spirit of Flow, the Bloodhound Knight. Spirit of a Bloodhound Knight they called the Rabid Stray will attack without pause immediately after being summoned. Flow vowed that there was only one lord he would serve, a true king, and so the Rabid Stray never found a master. Okay, so we heard there was Deathroot here. I guess that's what's in this chest. Nice, okay. So this is different, much like the place where we fought the first tree spirit, the ulcerated tree spirit. It's a larger boss room. And the roots are much more pronounced throughout. Very cool though. Okay, so we do want to go speak with Garank, probably. Let's return to the entrance, make sure there's nothing going on there. Wait first. I'm trying to remember which one. There was one that had like an altar behind it. Forbidden worship of some sort, but yeah. Okie dokie. Where did we say we were going? I'm like half asleep here. My apologies. We are going to see Garank. That's it. Okay. Hopefully he's not waiting to attack us. He's not. Okay. Thank goodness. So he won't even ask us. He's not even talking anymore.
My thanks, tarnished. Death, my sin, should not be touched by the hand of man. I shall grant thee my claws. Feed me more.
Stone of Garank. Superior incantation taught by Garank, the beast clergyman, hurls a boulder before the caster. This incantation can be cast repeatedly. Long ago, Garank was a beast of such terrifying ferocity that his former name meant Death of the Demigods. Okay.
I shall grant thee my claws. Feed me more.
Alrighty. Let's rest and see if anything changes. Nope. Alrighty then, so where did we want to go? So we can't cross from this side to this side. So we have to figure out how to get here eventually. We do want to take this Seethewater Ruins route, although we still haven't even reached this quote-unquote junction yet. What if we go to the Wyndham Catacombs? I want to see if it's possible to see the Gelmir Hero's Grave entrance from there, from the area out here. Don't remember much about this area, or even if we explored it thoroughly enough. Obviously those who live in death here. This will tell us whether this item has been looted, and it has, so we have explored at least this part. We are walking around with a lot of runes on our person. Oh, right, okay, yeah, because this is where that boss fight was. I don't know the extent to which we... Okay, we had to have explored this, because otherwise this would still be active, and it's not. Oh, skeleton hat friend. You know how I feel about skeleton friends with hats. Okay, so we're looking... It does not look as though we can see it from here because of all of this stuff in the way. So I'm going to say that we've not yet reached that spot where we can see it, unless it's like here. But no, you'd have to be pretty high up, I think. It would have to be here. Yeah, it's obscured by this whole thing. Okie doke, so the question is, do we go to the Seethewater River? Yeah, let's do it. How much do we need to level up? 9,000. Okay, we'll do that first. I'm so indecisive. I'm already questioning myself. This place looks awful. Ash of War Barrage. Barrage, archery skill using a bow held horizontally. Ready the bow and then fire off a rapid succession of shots faster than the eye can see. Usable on light bows. So lots of volcanic activity here, evidently. As you might expect. Golden Seed. Where's this scarab? Ouch. Sorry, Torrent, my bad. Oh, there it is, okay. Alright, so that was just a flask refill, friend. Looks like we have a cave of some sort up ahead, which we're going to need to use a swordstone key to access. So yeah, we have a fork in the road. What is up here? Oh, a bunch of people are being hanged up there, it looks like. Good times. Strong foe? Oh gosh, darn basilisks. Of course they're... Just leave me alone. Oh, that's bad. Why is it always basilisks? I think that's my favorite of the new additions to the messaging system. Why is it always basilisks? Or why it is... Excuse me. Why is it always blank? Oh gosh darn it. Mason butterfly. I feel like these ones are slightly weaker than the ones we encountered in the deep root depths. So, this bridge is broken. So, yeah, we would not, and that's an upside down giant. And some upside down smaller, not giants. I don't know what they are, but... Yeah, so this was going to be our goal from this side. But yeah, we should return to the Bridge of Iniquity at some point because we climbed this ladder here. We did not proceed in this direction, so I'd be interested in seeing what's there, even though it does not look like we'd be able to cross the bridge proper, insofar as that's supposed to be the Bridge of Iniquity and not some other bridge. Oh, this is an oppressive location. Consistent with everything, excuse me, consistent with everything we've heard about the location up until this point. Poison ahead. Seethewater Cave. Alright, in keeping with our brand new exploration heuristic, let's do it. No warping away now. Surprised there was not a second friend hiding around the corner there. Why is it always one-way drop? Is this the boss right away? Oh, I just rolled. Gosh darn it, silly me. So now we're going to be poisoned no matter what. This is not fun. Not fun from Soft. Ugh. Okay, I'm not gonna fight these friends. You know, it might be worth upgrading a torch at some point. to get that additional damage on it, because I want to see these friends are most likely weak to fire. At least they were in Dark Souls and Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, I think. I guess it depended on which type. In Dark Souls 3, because there were several different types. Again, this is another one of those things where I could just look at the official guide I have on the bookshelf to my right, but oh, what the... Okay, did not see them until the last second. Sinner ahead. Sinner ahead. I would say I've lost my voice, but I only just woke up. I started recording this episode on Sunday, and it is now Friday. I probably could have used an extra hour of sleep, but instead I am here. Because it's Friday, and before the weekend, I would like to record this because I'm not sure that I will have an opportunity to record this weekend as much as I have in the last few weekends, so... I wanted to record while I'm able to. And, yeah, have a long day at work ahead, but... At least this way, if we can finish off this episode before the weekend, then any recording I'm able to do in the weekend will be a bonus, basically. Or as they say, it'll be gravy. Oh, some preserving boluses, very nice. Oh gosh darn it. Thank goodness for this incantation, Cure Poison, because I don't know what we would do without it. It uses so little FP as well. Oh. Is this that spot where we were previously? No, this is a new spot, so let's make sure there's no items or anything here. Yeah, this is quite the labyrinthian cave, this. Gosh, I don't like this sound that I'm hearing. Ah, this is that friend who was firing at us earlier. Oh, so they're all worshipping this poison bloom flower. Very interesting, okay. Just need to get them into a repulsable state. There it is. Oh gosh darn it. I was out of stamina. Oh. Mushroom head. Body, arms, and legs. It's interesting because I thought we already had the mushroom head. Mushrooms found growing all over the body. These overgrown mushrooms have colonized the head. To those enraptured by the scarlet rot, they are holy vestments that root one to the earth. Same description for all 4 pieces, it looks like. Okay, again. So this is a different mushroom head than the one we procured previously. This was a crown. So that's an interesting distinction. We would wear that, but it obscures regret. Oh, that's good too. It obscures Regret's beautiful face. The aristocrat headband is actually quite nice. It accentuates Regret's hamster cheeks. And that one's good for its simplicity, but yeah, we're gonna have to stick with the Queen's Crescent crown for the moment. Oh, that's good. What a wonderful creation Regret is. Don't know that I've ever created a more beautiful character than Regret. Whoop. No, gosh darn it. I don't think I was supposed to drop down there. Oh, here we are. Okay. This presumably is going to be the boss. Yep, Stake of Marika, so I would imagine this is probably the boss. Nice of them to give you a Stake of Marika instead of forcing you to go through all the poison stuff again. That would not be nice. Is it going to be a giant rat? Oh no. Just a little side thing. Poison Bone Dart. Okay, that's the fog gate there. So let's quickly see what's in the other direction. Plenty of rats in this cave. Okie dokie, let's do this. Kindred of Rot. I shouldn't have been cute, should have just attacked right away. Thankfully, the other one was like, you know, guys, I'll just shoot him from a distance. I think that's a good idea, yeah. Kindred of Rot's Exaltation. I'm going to assume that's a talisman. A talisman depicting the exaltation of pests raises attack power when poisoning or rot occurs in the vicinity. Rot for the Scarlet Goddess, O Scarlet Blossoms, flourish in distant lands and return to us, the unwanted children. Okay. So, Raises attack power when poisoning or rot occurs in the vicinity. So, in other words, in a place like this, it would raise your attack power. Is that reflected in the status screen, though? Or do you just have to figure it out? Yeah, it does not appear to be reflected in the status screen. So that's, yeah. Don't know how useful that would be. Because, you know, at least I feel like I would be constantly guessing as to whether or not it's actually working. But maybe that's just me. Oh, I love the NPCs in this game. Is there a one-way drop before the Site of Grace, or can we rest first? We can rest. Okay, good. And now we have to proceed in the other direction. The other side of the fork, I guess. Sorry, friend. Miserable, this place. Why? I'm gonna assume they're not meant. I'm gonna save quit and see if that happens again. Oh my god, I'm gonna assume they're not meant to fall from the sky like that. But it certainly gives a lighter touch to what is otherwise a very depressing and oppressive area of the game. So, yeah, I'll take that as a win. Really very little to be gained, I think, by fighting them, fighting the Hug Friends. Gosh darn it. Herba. So is this, I thought this was a spirit spring for a second, because of the smoke rising from it. Fireproof dried liver, presumably for... Oh no, sorry, Torrent. For fire damage. There you go, friend. Okay, so... that is not the Volcano Manor. That is some other place. Volcano Manor is up above, behind us. Site of Grace. Just what I wanted to see. Seethewater Terminus. So, a terminus is like at least when applied to a train station, it's a place where it connects to many different places. Or is it? Because I'm thinking also about the terms terminal. Terminal means like the end point of something. So you for example, a PhD is a terminal degree, which is to say it's the highest degree in a field you can earn. Let's see, what is Terminus? Enemies dying just why not? Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, I was wrong. So Terminus is a final point in space or time, an end or extremity. Friends are still dying. The British meaning, the end of a railroad or other transportation route, or a station at such a point, a terminal. Okay, so last stop, end of the line, in other words. Yeah, I don't know where I got the other thing from. Because yeah, I think term is supposed to mean end or something like that. And I was thinking of where I live. It's one of those fire witch friends. A whole bunch of jellyfish friends as well. So I live in Toronto, as I've mentioned many times. Our subway station, when you reach the end of one of the lines, I want to say, you know, bought a car in 2020, so it's been a while since I've taken the TTC, but I want to say when you get to, say, Kipling Station on the end of the westbound line, on line 2, that the automated voice says that you've arrived at Terminus Station, Kipling Station. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but wow, this place is awful. Oh, so the Fire Witches are fighting with the Lordsworn. So I was laughing at friends dying. I assumed that's what was happening. Hi, jellyfish friends. Thank you for the stone sword key. I appreciate you keeping watch over it. These friends are having an epic battle. Might as well take a drink of water here. I feel like we should be helping the Lordsworn friend because they're outnumbered. Oh, or we could kill all three of them. Gosh darn it. That almost ended very poorly. Okay, so this is not a massive fort. I'm only hesitating in saying this because usually when I say something like this, the opposite happens. I imagine we should be able to take care of this relatively quickly. Oh, there's a fire tank friend. Everything here has been burned, as you might expect. Where is he going? So whose side is the fire tank on then? And get wrecked. Oh, I was wondering what hit us from behind. So you have those plain Fire Witch friends who don't have a lot of defense, and then there are the ones that have that sort of fancy weapon, as well as quite a bit of armor. Much higher defenses, because they take multiple hits to kill, whereas the those friends just collapse in one hit. Oh gosh darn it. Wow, they're all over the place. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh, they can hurt each other. Thank goodness for the experience we gained in Caelid fighting these friends. Otherwise, yeah, we'd be in deep trouble, I think. Certainly I wouldn't be anywhere near as confident facing them. So when you look away from these friends, the game unloads their flames. And they reload. Yeah, you know, I guess I can't spend all my time complaining about the frame rate if I'm gonna sort of poke fun at the things they do to try and manage the resources such that they're able to better control. Yeah, anyways. Shouldn't poke fun at their performance optimization methods. If I'm saying they should have more of them. So these friends murdered a Lordsworn friend here. Okay, so these friends are... So they have, I've mentioned this before, crowns of thorns, but they're doing some sort of blood magic, akin to sort of what Lady Maria did in Bloodborne. Oh, and the last time I mentioned Lady Maria, I couldn't remember the name of her weapon, and it just came to me, Rukuyo. I don't know how many episodes ago that was, but yeah, there you have it. Do sometimes remember things eventually, so... This appears to be maybe a secondary path towards Volcano Manor or something like that. Why is it always horse? So either, yeah, we're supposed to ride Torrent through there, or, you know, I wonder if at some point in the game there will be a... Oh, of course there's a Magma Wyrm there, because why wouldn't there be? Do you wonder if at some point in the game there will be a ring or something, a la the ring from Dark Souls 1? Gosh darn it. A la the ring from Dark Souls 1, which allowed us to walk on lava. Oh, Lieutenant, I'm sorry. Oh, gosh darn it. Where did he go? So they expect you to fight it much closer to the lava. Which, yeah, not going to do that. So why don't we just pelt it with arrows along with Lieutenant? Good teamwork, Lieutenant. You're doing a great job. Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, good job, friend. Buff their weapon. Yeah, I think upgrading Lieutenant was... Okay, that was a cool move. One of the better things we've done in this playthrough, I think. Thank you, Lieutenant. Ooh, a new draconic power is available. It's been a while since we've had a new draconic power, I think. Alrighty. What is back here? Why is it always upgrade materials? Oh, it's the entrance, okay. Alright, I'm satisfied. Fort Laeidd. Who are you? A bull-headed friend. Like, literally a bull-headed friend. With some sort of Lord of Blood thing. We would perhaps be better served refilling our flasks and whatnot, but let's do it. It's going to be a boss fight, presumably. Whoa, okay. Okay, that's really cool, but also frightening. You sure know how to intimidate, friend. Jeez. Prelate's Infernal Crozier. Colossal hammer with the appearance of roiling flames, weapon of the prelates who lead the fire monks. Its heft represents the weight of their guardianship. The hammer's head is unusually substantial, and strong attacks will fling foes into the air. Skill, Prelate's Charge. Slam armament into the ground to create a surge of flames, then charge in. Hold to continue the charge. Cool. Yeah, I was expecting that to be a boss fight. And suppose, in a way it was, because that was our first encounter with one of those friends, and it was quite something. So is this a shortcut exit? No. Usually those types of doors are shortcut exits. At least in my experience. Thus far in this game, I should say. Armor's Cookbook level 7. Giant's Flame Firepot. It's enchanted by the incantations of the Giant's Flame. So the Giant's Flame, and it scales with faith, I think it said. The Giant's Flame is essentially chaos, I want to say. It has that same sort of look to it where it's just, we were the wretched fools. Who is that speaking? They'll never find me. I was really, I was not ready for that. I heard the whispering, though, the whispering sound you hear when the, Eek the wretched fools. Oh, there he is. Fire Scorpion Charm. I'll survive, I swear it. I'll soon be back at the Volcano Manor. Alright. Okay, friend. He is in the same pose as the friend with no eyes, who is talking about Praetor Rykard being terrible. And obviously I didn't mention it because of the ghost friend having distracted me, but all of the dead Erd Tree Surcoat Lordsworn here. Didn't expect thief. Yeah, empty chest. the player is usually entitled to all the chests. And so when we come across a situation where we do not find... Oh gosh, what was the item we picked up? It was just a rune, wasn't it? Well, I guess we don't need any more Roa fruit. I was just thinking about the message which said, precious item. Okay, so I guess that's it for this area. Does not look like we can access the walls. These three sides. Dreadful frame rate here. Yeah, really cool attacks. So they're like drawing on their own blood in order to call forth those attacks, which, yeah, is really cool. Alright, that looks like it's everything here. Do we want to rest at the site of grace? I feel like we're okay. We could proceed here. Oh, Alexander? Is that Alexander? Oh no. Okay. Torrent, we got you, friend, don't worry. We just so happen to have a ton... Gosh darn it. A ton of healing wares for you.
Oh, mountain of fire. Bake me in your flame.
Yeah, that sounds like Alexander. Where are you, Alexander? Friend? Ooh. There he is.
Mountain of fire. Bake me in your flames.
Hey, friend. Won't let me talk to him. Do I have to not be on horseback? Oh, that's weird.
Ah, good sir. What business might you have in such a place as this? I hardly think you're here to temper yourself with flame, considering that fleshly form of yours. Your timing, though, is impeccable as ever. I've been making just the thing for you on my journey here. Take it. I'm sure it'll suit you to a T.
Oh, jar. So that's a helmet, I think.
But, it's hardly more than lukewarm here. I won't be able to temper my body such that it'll never crack again. Perhaps I'll head eastward. There's an old saying I've caught wind of. Above the lofty clouds, the icy giant's peak doth soar. Here lieth the flame of ruin, which ever burning roars. Perhaps I'll head eastward. There's an old saying.
All right, friend. Well, please do take care of yourself. Oh, gosh darn it. What does this message say? Come on. Let there be something. Whoop. Okay. Okay. I think seeing Alexander Jarfriend again makes that more than worth it. Like everything up to this point. Because I was quite concerned about him. Oh, demi-human friends, leave me alone. Interesting. There's stuff down there. Did not expect that. Well, you all know how much I love looting graveyards. So what better a place? Die for thief. Unless you're talking about the person who stole this stuff from the chest. It could apply to that person, or it could apply to us. We are the ones robbing the graves. Okay. That suggests that there's going to be a giant somewhere nearby, because how else do we crack open that statue? Boiling magma. Oh, okay, we'll have to come back to this. Wherever this shack builder is, they're quite prolific, like extremely prolific. They just build the same shack all throughout the lands between. Must have been a lucrative contract. Oh, there it is. Okay. I knew there was going to be a giant-esque friend somewhere. Oh no. What the heck? Oh no. How did the bear fall over there? Okay, this bear is not cooperating. Thank you. Ooh, smithing stone level 6, 3 of them as well. That's great. I'm gonna put those towards our bow, I think. Demi-Human friends, I have no quarrel with you. I don't have any quarrel with the bear either, but I don't think I can get away from the bear without dying. Gosh darn it. Whew. Oh gosh, friend, please. Can't parry a shield. You know, I would have just left you alone. But you all insisted on fighting. I'm still trying to work out did not realize there were lands past. Oh, hold on one second. Oh my gosh, that easy to forget that we've sort of ascended. That is the Caria Manor there. See, what I was thinking we were looking at was something here. But no, we're looking here. Okay, I get it. For once, we were actually able to use the full refill mechanic with that friend. Hermit's Shack. Oh, so we're looping around to this area, which, okay, cool. Which connects to that other area where we were previously. Whoa. Goat Town. Meh. 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 Just, I have never seen so many goats in one place. Even in Goat Simulator. Although, yeah, I guess Goat Simulator is really only one goat. For my eldest niece, to get her into video games, I bought her Goat Simulator for one of her birthdays, and that became her favorite game for several years. So we'll have to see with Aurelia of Astora, but I think I mentioned earlier in the playthrough, I think I'll probably start her with some classic games first. Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap, probably foremost among them, Pulley Crossbow. Crossbow made with pulleys and power springs, the complex mechanism which required advanced mathematical and mechanical understanding to craft, was likely made by a certain genius who learned Golden Order fundamentalism. One touch fires a volley of bolts. Be warned, large stores of bolts can be quickly spent. Craftman's shack. So the demi-humans and the goats are living in harmony. Whoa, are these like baby demi-humans? Oh my god, they are. Oh, crud. There are some of those pizza cutter women. Sacramental Bud. Oh my. Oh no. You got some sweet moves there, friend. Hermit Village. Okay, I've been actively trying to spare the demi-humans as much as possible, but they are making it very difficult at this point. Because obviously they perceive me as a threat to their village, and I suppose that's fair enough, but yeah. Okay, so it's one of the laughing ladies. Some starlight shards over there. Gold tinged excrement. So that's going to be a boss almost certainly. There was a Raya Lucaria friend there with them as well. Errant Sorcerer, Manchettes, boots, and robe. Commonplace robe made of thick cloth, worn by the errant sorcerer Wilhelm, one of the first Tarnished to visit the Roundtable Hold. A silent seeker of sorcery who had gone so far as to make contact with the primeval current. Wilhelm was led by guidance into confrontation with his friend Vargum, and it is said that he was then taken prisoner in the Roundtable Hold. Shouldn't it be the Roundtable Hold? Commonplace leather manchettes. Their hands are inlaid with dulled glintstone. And their boots are sturdy enough to withstand a long journey. Likely out of stamina. So, yeah, these women in this village were seemingly slaughtered by these demi-human friends, which is kind of sad. Not kind of sad, it is sad. Okay, there's a couple sorcerer friends along with this demi-human friend. So they seem to have been working together, which is interesting. What? Oh, okay, so this is where we fought the the last Mariner boss fight. And then, yeah. Okay, so I think I know where we are. Oh, we marked the tree because we're still looking for a painter. Oh, I see a site of grace right behind them there. Yep, Demi-Human Queen Maggie. So once more, I typically only summon for boss fights when it's a multiple, when the boss has adds, or there are multiple bosses. This is one such instance. So interesting, this demi-human friend has plenty of spells. Oh gosh darn it. Memory stone. Gosh darn it. As we all know, memory stones are my favorite, absolute favorite kind of loot. Interesting that the other, the sorcerers just all sort of died. Okay, interesting. Let's rest first. Primeval Sorcerer Azur. Calm. Oh, I really shouldn't find it as funny as I do, but yeah. Legendary sorcerer devised by Azur, primeval sorcerer, fires a tremendous comet in a torrent akin to the distant starry expanse. The place said to be the origin of glintstone, Hold to continue releasing the sorcery's power. When Azur glimpsed into the medieval current, he saw darkness. He was left both bewitched and fearful of the abyss. There's a car with an obnoxiously loud subwoofer on outside. Don't understand why people do that, especially like it's 8 in the morning. Ridiculous. Roiling magma, one of the sorceries developed from the magma of Mount Gelmir, fires a lump of condensed magma that explodes a short delay after hitting the target. Charging enhances potency and further delays the explosion. After discovering the ancient hexes of Gelmir, Rykard, son of Queen Renala, brought them back into practical use as new forms of sorcery. Okay, so that's it. Friend has become mostly crystal at this point, seemingly. Alright, I think that's going to do it for now. And then in the next episode, we will continue on in Mount Gelmir. But thank you all very, very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.